Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everyone.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Waalaikumsalam
wabarakatuh.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alright, my name is Rifa Mutia, and today I want to perform microteaching with the material passive voice. My student number is 222-319-0096, and I'm from class 6C. Okay, the presentation, my PPT is appear in my screen, in your screen, I mean.
Yes, ma'am.
How are you today, students?
I'm pretty good,
I'm
ma'am.
fine, ma'am.
Right, alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, before we study about this passive voice, I provide link you to fill the attendance in the chat box. Could you please to fill the attendance before we start the study?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Who are the chief in this class? I want you to lead the prayer before we begin. Okay, because no one, maybe Rizky want to lead the prayer.
All right, ma'am. So before we start the class, let's pray together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay.
All right, thank you,
Finish.
Rizky, for let us begin together. Okay, before we start, I want you to on your camera, if you are who turn on your camera, because no one. Okay, thank you for your effort. Yes, I can see your pretty and handsome faces now. I just started blank before. Yeah. Okay. Before that, I want you to answer if you have you did ever before about passive voice?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because Rizky already answer yes, ma'am. I want you to give an opinion about passive voice. What do you know about passive voice?
So I think passive voice is we have the subject is in the end of the sentence. I mean,
Okay,
is
thank
that
you.
correct, ma'am?
Okay, thank you. I will keep it your answer first. Maybe Ismi want to answer too?
Wait. I think my opinion is same with Rizky, ma'am.
Oh, all right. Okay, same opinion. Okay, let's jump to the material. Today we're going to study about passive voice. Mungkin siswa di sini sudah pernah mengetahui bahwa ada yang namanya kalimat aktif dan ada yang namanya kalimat pasif. Di bahasa Indonesia sendiri kita sering ngedengar pasti sebuah kalimat aktif yang misalnya saya menendang bola. Bentuk kalimat pasifnya adalah bola ditendang oleh saya. Gitu. Sebenarnya terdengar mudah gitu. Tapi kalau di passive voice sedikit berbeda di bahasa Inggris. Kita langsung aja. Okay, first definition of passive voice. Sebelumnya tadi Rizky sama Ismi udah kasih pendapat mengenai passive voice itu apa. So the passive voice is used to show interest in the person or object that experiences an action rather than the person or object that performs the action. Jadi tadi dari penjelasan sedikit yang diberikan Rizky, we can conclude ya bahwa passive voice ini lebih menekankan subjek objek tersebut ditukar menjadi sesuatu yang lebih penting gitu, bahwa fokus kita akan dirubah di passive voice. Selanjutnya, so the function, the passive voice is used to show interest in the person or object that experiences an action rather than the person or object that performs the action. So in other words, the most important thing or person becomes the subject of the sentence. Jadi seperti Ibu sudah sampaikan bahwa fokusnya dirubah di passive voice ini. And we can see for the examples, the first is the passive voice is used frequently. Di sini ada yang kedua, the house was built in 1654, and the last is the road is being repaired. Lalu kita bisa lihat di contoh yang paling terakhir, the road is being repaired, yang artinya jalanan itu diperbaiki. Jadi difokuskannya ke jalanannya, bukan diperbaikinya. Gitu. Lanjutnya, when will we use passive voice? Mungkin masih bingung dari active voice ke passive voice itu digunakannya kapan aja. First, when we prefer not to mention who or what does the action. For example, it's not known, it's obvious, or we don't want to say it. Okay, so the example is for the active voice, the man is kicking the ball now. Yang artinya laki-laki tersebut menendang bola sekarang. Diubah menjadi passive voice, bunyinya jadi the ball is being kicked by the man now. Fokusnya diubah jadi bola tersebut sedang ditendang oleh laki-laki tersebut. So far, do you understand about my explanation?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Do I too fast when explain?
No,
A
ma'am.
little, ma'am.
All right. Okay, next. We use passive voice to avoid a pseudo subject, someone or using somebody. So for the example is active voice-nya, someone hit the mirror last night. And the passive voice-nya, the mirror was hit by someone last night. Jadi untuk penggunaan passive voice ini baik ketika subjek tersebut itu semu atau bisa jadi tidak diketahui. Jadi kita akan menggunakan someone or somebody. Selanjutnya, fungsinya itu to change the focus on the sentence. Yang sudah Ibu jelaskan berkali-kali bahwa di passive voice ini fokus di kalimatnya berubah. Contohnya bisa kita lihat, my bike was stolen. Ini pasifnya. Sedangkan active voice-nya adalah someone stole my bike. Gitu. Jadi ketika aktifnya adalah seseorang mencuri sepeda saya, tapi di passive voice diubah menjadi sepeda saya yang dicuri gitu. Jadi lebih menekankan bahwa fokusnya kalau di pasif itu sepeda saya, sepedanya. Namun kalau di aktifnya adalah orangnya tersebut gitu. Jadi bisa dilihat bahwa fokusnya adalah di objeknya yang dijadikan sebuah subjek. Nah, bisa dijadikan kata kunci ya, siswa semua. Paham? Did you get it?
Paham, ma'am.
Yes.
Jadi kita juga bisa mengubah verb-nya ya.
Ya,
Dari
selanjutnya
aktif
akan
ke pasif.
Ibu bahas mengenai verb yang dirubah, bahwa perubahan dari subjek menjadi objek dan objek menjadi subjek di passive voice ini mempengaruhi kata kerjanya. Oke, selanjutnya passive voice form atau formulasi dari kalimat pasif. In general, passive voice divided into four form ya. First-nya itu ada present passive voice, second ada past passive voice, third ada future passive voice, dan yang terakhir ada modal auxiliary. Oke. Pertama ini yang perlu kita perhatikan ketika kita merubah form active voice into passive voice. Kalimat aktif yang akan dirubah itu harus memiliki objek. Jadi dalam hal ini kata kerja yang harus digunakan itu juga kata kerja transitif alias kata kerja yang memerlukan objek. Sehingga ketika kata kerja tersebut tidak memiliki objek, maka tidak bisa dibuat menjadi kalimat pasif. Kemudian, subjek dalam kalimat aktif diubah menjadi objek dalam kalimat pasif. Dan sebaliknya, jika ada objek di dalam kalimat aktif, diubah menjadi subjek kalau kita mau membuat ke kalimat pasif. Dan yang tadi mungkin Rizky udah spill sedikit mengenai kata kerja. Jadi kata kerja di passive voice ini harus berbentuk past participle atau biasa kita kenal dengan verb tree-nya gitu, dan harus didahului oleh to be. Apa aja macam to be? Am, is, are, was, were, being, and been. Dan kemudian diikuti oleh by. Kenapa harus ada by? Karena di passive voice ini ada perubahan fokus, dan by ini adalah sebagai agent alias diikut sertakan. Dan yang terakhir, susunan kalimat harus sesuai dengan tenses. Right? The first is present passive voice. The first is simple present tense. So the active is Budi writes a letter. You can see the formula subject verb 1 plus object, and change it into passive voice. A letter is written by Budi. So the writes from the verb 1 becomes written because passive voice use past participle. Next, present continuous tense. It goes same, but continuous tense always use verb being, and the passive voice used being before the past participle. The next is present perfect tense. The active voice-nya ada someone has written the letter. So the formula subject plus has or have plus verb 3 plus object, and change it into passive voice. The letter has been written by someone. So it use have or has plus been plus verb 3. The next is present perfect continuous tense. So the active voice, we have been helping the poor people. And the passive voice, the poor people have been being helped by us. The next is the form of past passive voice. There are simple past tense. So for the active, use verb 2 plus object. But when we change into the passive voice, we use verb 3. Okay, for the next is past continuous tense. The active voice use verb being plus object, and the passive voice use being plus verb 3. The next past perfect tense, we had watched Titanic movie. It used had plus past participle plus object, and when we change it to the passive voice, the sentence changed into Titanic movie had been watched by us. So subject plus had plus been plus past participle. The next is past perfect continuous tense. So for the active voice, the man had been cutting by the grass. And for the passive voice, the grass had been being cut by the man. The next is future passive voice. So the first is simple future tense. For the active example, Rudy will wash the car. So in the future, we will add will. And for the passive, the car will be washed by Rudy. The next is future continuous tense. For the active voice, Barbara will be collecting the paper. Use verb A plus object, and the passive, the paper will be being collected by Barbara. For the future perfect tense, the active voice is John will have solved the car. It uses formula subject plus will plus have plus past participle and object. So the passive voice change it into the car will have been solved by John. Subject plus will plus have plus been plus verb 3. And the last is modal auxiliary passive voice. So modal auxiliary sendiri terdiri dari can, could, may, might, will, would, or shall, should, or maybe must and ought to. For the example, the man can answer the question. So the man is subject, can is the modal, and answer is the verb 1, and the question is object. When we change into passive voice, the question is being subject. So can modal be plus past participle. The past participle in this sentences is answered, and the object is the man. All right. I think that's all for the material. For the next session, I will give you an exercise. So you have to active in this session because I want to give you additional score if you answer my question. All right, I will share my exercise. So my word is appear in the screen.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you for answer, Jaffa. Okay, for those who want to answer, just turn on your microphone. The first exercise is I want you to guess whether the sentence are passive voice or active voice. For the first, she lost her car last night. Who want to answer?
May I, ma'am?
All right, go ahead, Jaffa.
I think the answer is active voice or A.
Active voice. I want you to give a reason why you answer that is active voice.
Because in my opinion, in the sentence, the subject is do the action with lost the car, but different with passive that the action uh doing in the first, ma'am. So the subject in the first. So I think this is active voice, ma'am.
All right, thank you for your great explanation ya. Betul bahwa seperti yang tadi Ibu sampaikan bahwa subjeknya yang lebih ditekankan ya Java ya.
Yes, ma'am.
Alright. For the second number, my motorcycle was stolen in the parking area. Want to answer?
May I, ma'am?
Alright, go ahead, Rizky.
So the answer of number 2.
I'm sorry, I could hear your voice.
Number 2, the answer of number 2 is passive voice. Passive voice, ma'am. Can you hear my voice?
Yes, I can hear your voice. So I want you to give a reason why you answer with that passive voice.
All right, ma'am. So the answer passive voice because we focus on the object like this, a motorcycle, and you can see that the verb is changed, was become was stolen. That's all, ma'am.
All right, thank you for your great answer. Jadi untuk yang kedua itu memang passive voice karena kita bisa melihat ya ini past participle, stolen di sini past participle dan termasuk ke tenses past tense ya. Alright, thank you Rizky. For number 3, who want to answer? Maybe Adinda.
Yes, ma'am.
Alright.
Number 3, the right answer I think is A, maybe. Am I right?
Oh, so you answered with doubly about this question. Is it A or B?
A, ma'am.
All right, A. Active voice. Yes, that's right. I am listening to the dialogue. Ya, kita bisa lihat di sini bahwa tidak ada verb tiganya, alias tidak ada past participle-nya. I am listening. Bukan, dan juga di sini adalah subjeknya memang di awal, sehingga tidak terdeteksi sama sekali bahwa termasuk ke dalam passive voice. Okay, thank you, Dinda. For number 4, want to answer? Maybe Radit?
Yes, ma'am.
Please answer number 4.
Number 4, I think the answer is A, active voice.
All right. Tell me the reason why you choose that active voice rather than passive voice.
Karena saya pakai bahasa Indonesia ya, ma'am.
Alright.
Karena di sini subjeknya ada di depan dan objeknya ada di terakhir, di belakang.
Alright. Alright, good answer, Adit. Thank you. And for the number 5, maybe Alwi?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, please answer number 5.
I think it's passive voice, ma'am.
Tell me the reason
B.
why it passive voice. Hello, Alwi?
Because maybe the subject has already do by the father.
Okay, right. Okay, thank you for answer. Jadi yang number 5, the book was written by my father. So the object is ada di depan, the book-nya itu objek dan my father-nya itu subjek. Dan tadi salah satu clue-nya adalah in passive voice we use by as an agent. So ketika ada by dan ada past participle juga was written ya. Jadi kita bisa mengatakan bahwa sentence number 5 is passive voice. Okay, thank you. For the last questions, I want you to rewrite the sentence into passive voice. For only one student who answer this number 6 will have additional score again.
May
May
I?
I, ma'am?
Okay, thank you for your enthusiasm. Okay, what should I do? Because there are 2 students. Maybe I want to.
Ladies first, ma'am.
Okay, ladies first. Thank you. Maybe Jaffa,
All right.
please.
I'm Galuh, ma'am.
Sorry. Okay, Galuh.
All right. Active voice, my sister is washing dishes, and passive voice is the dishes is being washed by my sister.
All right. I want you to give an explanation. In these sentences, include in what kind of tenses? Past, present, continuous, or modal auxiliary?
Sorry, ma'am. I don't know, ma'am.
Alright. Kita bisa lihat ya, ketika verbnya itu ada verb being, itu termasuk ke dalam continuous, dan ketika to be-nya adalah is, itu termasuk ke dalam present gitu. Jadi ini termasuk ke present continuous tenses. But thank you, Galuh, for answer that question. I will give you an additional score, yeah?
Thank you so
Thank you,
much,
Galuh.
ma'am.
All right. Okay, before I end this class, I want you to remind you to fill the attendance. I provide the link on the chat box because the deadline is until 17 p.m. in today. So for give you an feedback, I want you to give your what is that message for me for today material. Maybe you can say that you are not understand or what your struggle that you face today. I want you to share it to me for the next session evaluation. And I want to inform that the assignment for the next week will be delivered in the WhatsApp group. Okay? Is that clear enough for today?
Yes, ma'am, it's pretty clear.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So before we end this class, I want to Rizky to lead the prayer before we end.
So before we leave the class, let's say Alhamdulillah. Let's say Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, thank you, Rizky. For the next session, I will hope you guys can turn on the camera and more active because I love this kind of vibes for class. Okay, don't forget in this pandemic, always your mask and eat a healthy food. And don't forget to collect the assignments too, okay? Thank you, have a good day. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Gua ya ganti.